Hey, everybody. Today I've got Antonio Bolet from In the Light of Led Zeppelin. He's the guitar player. They are a fantastic tribute band to Led Zeppelin, and they are actually a lot more than just that. And we are going to get into that. What's up, Antonio? Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
It's so great to finally meet you. You were obviously my brother was in your band for a while, Keith
Oh, yeah.
Howard. And so I've been a fan of you guys for a long time. So,
Well, we had a lot of fun with Keith. Keith actually brought the level of the band up to a certain point, which was amazing. And he's forever a brother, you
oh
know.
yeah,
Um, just he's that way, such a great guy. So every time I see him, it just fills my heart with joy. He's a good musician. His bass playing is amazing too.
that I, yeah,
Guitar player.
yeah, he's so super talented, and I revert automatically. It's like my default to keep when I talk about my brother as the drummer because I think he's so excellent at drums, and he's great at everything he does. But.
Yep,
So are you in Florida? Is that where you're based?
exactly. We're in a town called Palm Beach Gardens, which is in between Palm Beach, Florida, and Jupiter, Florida.
Wow.
It's about an hour north of Miami.
What's the weather out there like today?
It's like 81 degrees and nice.
Uh, I'm in Illinois. I think we're in the 50s today, so that's pretty good. On Facebook, that you're a doctor of some sort?
I am. I trained as a medical doctor and went on to do specialty training in ophthalmology. Um, and now I'm in the administrative side of medical practice. I did a lot of consulting in that throughout the world as well as practicing. Um, so I'm with a very large ophthalmology practice now, which gives me the flexibility to be a good advocate for my physician colleagues and administer the building into I guess, a take no prisoner, excellent patient review, customer service type industry,
Wow.
which we are expanding during all this, and it gives me the opportunity to go off and do tours. So,
Right. That's awesome. I don't know many doctors. How about I think I heard from my brother that you guys used to fly Scott out for certain shows because maybe he didn't live in the same
correct.
state. So are you guys all in the same state now?
So all of us at presently are in the same state. Linda,
Okay.
my keyboard player, another physician. Autumn,
Oh,
the bass player, she's a software architect. Paige, which is the drummer, which took the seat that your brother left when he went off to go play bass for another great band. Um, and now we have Shaban Cronin, which is violinist extraordinaire. She's very talented, has done lots of scores, played with uh, Trans-Siberian Orchestra and a lot of the classical places, the Miami Symphony, etc. And I
oh
have Patty
wow.
King on cello and mandolin and banjo. But anyway, yeah, we're all here. And currently, our vocalist is, we don't have one. We just did a national search
Yeah.
for a vocalist. We had 8 people turn out. We're pending one more interview audition. He's flying down for it,
Okay.
and then we'll make our decision.
Yeah, I was checking out all those editions on Facebook
Oh, you
and
did? Okay.
yeah, yeah, I cast my vote. I won't say who. Um,
Okay. Thank you.
but I'll tell you in private if you want to know. But yeah, that's cool. All of them were really talented. You're gonna have a hard decision to make.
Well, we've tasked our audience and our fans to help make that decision. Their votes count very heavily. It's like the members of the band, including Scott, are the electoral college, and the general vote is coming from our fan base, which at this point has become worldwide. Thank goodness. So we're just waiting. In fact, we're extending the deadline for the vote for another 20 days because of the amount of voting that's going on.
Right. Yeah, and you guys, I want to talk about your sound. I kind of touched on it when I introduced you. Um, I think it's great what you guys are doing now. And um, now, correct me if I'm wrong. When you started off, it was more of the traditional sort of tribute band to um, Led Zeppelin, where you try to maybe find people that kind of looked the part, and you'd have like just the four people on stage. Is that kind of how it started off, or
Indeed, it was four guys trying to be sincere on stage.
right?
Uh, and in fact, your brother was with us, and he would put on a mustache,
Right, right.
and his hair would be, darker. And I didn't have this. I actually used to wear a wig, and the dragon suits were custom made and all that stuff. Yeah, we did that. It was
Yeah.
kind of fun. Fairly busy too for that time period.
Yeah. And that's, that's typically I think how tribute bands are done, but I love what you guys have. You've like taken tribute bands like in my opinion to like a whole nother level. Um I had actually thought about, this interview, and I'm like, how do I describe his band? And the best way I can do it is like it's an original cover band or original tribute band. It's you add so much that typically maybe songs like Cashmere and stuff like that in the studio. Led Zeppelin may have had all the orchestration and all that, but you guys do it live for all your shows, and you've got more than four people. You got a bunch of people up there, and it's fantastic.
Well, that's not far off from the way we describe it. We have recently just, and this is because of agents or promoter, but it's an original band that specializes in the music of Page and Plant, and that's
Right.
the way I look
Okay.
at it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is, it's awesome. And with the pandemic right now, you're probably not really playing many shows, if any, but um like you mentioned that you go on tours. Could you tell me a little bit about, the kind of places you play and the
Sure.
crowds? Yeah.
So what we managed to do is come up with like an anchor date of a really big show, or two, that are maybe 3 days away, maybe a state away or two states away, and we'll either fly in, do one of those anchor shows, do two shows in between, which is what we call gas money or maintenance money for the bus, etc., and
Okay.
then do another one of those anchor shows, and then fly home, take work at the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Thursday night, take off again, and do another three shows, and we do that for maybe a 2 or 3 week period of time. Take a little bit of a break and then do it again. So we're calling those mini tours,
Okay.
and they could go as far as we'll end up in Schenectady, New York, one night, and have to go over to Long Island or down to the Philadelphia area. It's interesting. It's a lot of fun, but boy, it's exhausting at the same time, but rewarding. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I do a show, occasionally, my band is on hiatus right now because of the pandemic, but I'm in a cover band, and um we do like maybe one or two shows a month, but I'm exhausted afterwards. I mean, I can't imagine like just night after night, just weeks on end, or that's
Well, we organized it well because we're all very organized-minded individuals in our, I guess, our day jobs. So I have a great tech, which is now the road manager, and um, our riders demand that there are stage hands at the different venues to help with the unload and loading process, and then back to load
wow.
outs. So that's very well organized. It's like clockwork. We get there, it's like typical arrival is 4 o'clock. Sound check is 5:30. That could take up to an hour because of all the instruments. You name it, they have to be sound checked correctly. Levels are right. Then it's dinner. Then it's performance, and then it's either get in the bus and go, or head to the hotel, or because the next day we're going to drive to a next place. But it's actually very well organized at this point. And knock on wood, we're fastidious people on doing this as a business.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, and I've seen the crowds you guys play to, and it's there's a lot of people, man. That must be so fun. I mean, if I play for like 10 people and like, well, okay, I'm selling myself a little short. Usually be like 20, 30 people in a bar where I play, and if like three of them are into it, I feel like, I just won the lottery.
Listen, it's no different for me. I can only see the first two rows of the
Yeah.
theater where we're at, whatever venue, so, but they're out there because when they roar, they're louder than the PA system. So
Yeah.
that's crazy cool.
Yeah. Um, what about now you guys did this, let's travel back in time just a little bit. You guys did a CD where you went in studio. It was called the Pompeii Sessions, right? And
Exactly.
you guys did some Led Zeppelin songs and actually made a CD of it, right?
We did. What we did is, our trademark is to rearrange the music, kind of bring that music to now 20. That was done in 2017, I think, and just to bring it nowadays. And we got the blessings of the writers. Mr. Page has given us a blessing, so we feel comfortable in expanding some of these selections. And Keith is on that album. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
which was really fun. We went in and we did the whole thing in a day. Went back and did very little overdubs. For example, on Four Sticks, I overdubbed my electric sitar, which is in the very background left when you put your headphones on. It's kind of cool. But we basically did that. Scotty, our vocalist, did everything, including the background harmonies with Linda the same day. And then we did a series of shows the next 3 days after, which was amazing. But yeah, Pompeii Sessions has now become a worldwide download. It's interesting. Folks in India really like it. Thank God. I think maybe it's because we do all those, Eastern overtones. Spain really likes it. Germany, which is really liking it. And then we've got, it's just, who knew? Who knew? It was just kind of cool. And we're going
Yeah.
back to the studio as soon as we get our next vocalist, so that'll be fun.
You are.
Yeah,
Okay. Can you elaborate at all, or is it
sure.
still secret?
No, no. I mean, whoever gets the spot, it's going to have a lot of work to do. We're really crazy Robert Plant fans as well, and half of us went to Scotland 3 years ago to watch Robert Plant do his third show from his latest album, Carry Fire. And I came back and I had this whole cool arrangement in my mind, with a lot of really neat flamenco guitar, and then threw in some really cool Aldi Meola type electric guitar with the violins and cellos going. And we just made it a really fun song. So we got to record it because I got to send it as a gift to Mr. Plant and go, hey, look, you inspired this.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and it's people at the shows, they some of them know it and some of them don't, but at the end of the night, they're just blown away and they're like, what was that Robert Plant song? And that means we delivered it well.
Definitely, man. I like I said before, I mean, the way you guys add to it and change it up and make it your own it's unbelievable. It's fantastic.
Thanks. I've been really, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
People try to sound exactly like something and look, that's great, but what you're doing is great too. It's different, and I
Well,
think it attracts obviously a lot of attention, and people are responding. You guys are, you know, very popular worldwide, and you draw huge crowds. And
so this is there's a medical formula to this. Okay.
okay,
So
okay,
I'm going to take you on a trip. Okay. Right there
oh,
where you're
oh,
at.
okay.
Do you remember the first time that you opened up the Led Zeppelin one, you put it on the turntable or the CD, you put the headphones on or the speakers and you heard this and you're like, wow, it kind of quirked your mind. It was kind of really cool. You had to hear it again, and wow, you heard it again, and like, wow, it's really stimulating. What's going on? It's doing neural synaptic stimulation into the cerebral cortex, and it's like it's feeding this basic desire for spontaneity, and it's exciting and it's new. So and then you ran over to your friend's house or you played it for your brother or something, and you got to listen to this. Um, and after a while, you got pretty used to what was going on, but your mind still was looking for those familiar notes, even the small nuances in the end. So what I decided to do from a medical point of view is let me give you, the audience member, those familiar notes, okay, in the right places where you heard them, and then let me turn you into or turn you on to something that's like so, I mean, I slip it in, but it's subtle, it's amazing, it's different. And so now you leave the concert and you're going, wow, I've got, and you don't know this, but you've had this synaptic stimulation of memory from the first time you heard the album to this brand new wow effect that you got. Now, like, now you tell 10 of your friends, dude, you got to come see this band. And that's kind of the secret formula that I did, and I looked at it as a physician. What can I do to make this neurologically interesting? Because I'm not gonna play the album because you already bought the album. So why am I gonna do that?
Right.
Let you walk away with a brand new cerebral experience. Which is now becomes guttural. So that's my secret.
Dude, that's a great way of looking at it. And that's kind of how I explain like how your band is, like,
Cool.
how it's original and different. So thank you for that. The pandemic, who knows when it's going to end, but are you guys still kind of making future plans for maybe like midsummer or?
Well, that's a great question. We that hit us broadside because the band's popularity is based on going out and playing every show, and winning every town one by one. And we had a bunch of cool shows scheduled, from March all the way to now, and they all got rescheduled. So those are being rescheduled for February and March, and then into the summer. I don't know if that's going to happen because they wanted to do half capacity, a 1 hour show. I'm like, dude, that's 2 songs, 1 hour. It's not going to happen.
Right.
And I don't really get fired up until the first 45 minutes when we're really starting to, bring out our creative component. Um, I'm thinking maybe 2022 things will probably start getting back to normal as far as touring and playing more often. I started a 4-piece band, kind of like the original one that Keith was in with me, to play some of the smaller, more medium-sized venues that are now opened up, and people are dying for live music. So,
Yeah.
I decided, well, I'm just going to do 1968 through 1970, uh, you know, Zeppelin music, and just full out jam, and, simple as that. So how we're keeping our chops up.
Okay. Do you think things are going to start opening up around midsummer? I don't think it's going to be anywhere near normal, but I think you will see, some limited capacity shows because I think once we get through the winter and the vaccine starts coming out, um,
Right.
there'll be some hope that we can get back to somewhat of a normal existence again.
So you were in Illinois. Wow.
Yeah.
We haven't played there yet. I know we got asked to play there, but then this pandemic, so it's like, what am I going to do?
Oh, you would have been out here if it wasn't for the pandemic?
Sure, for sure. We were trying to figure out how to get a couple of supporting shows on a route out. So we're like that was going to be like an anchor show. We figured we'd drive up, do 2 shows, get there, and do one more show coming back if we had time, or take an extra day off from the office and do a total of 5 shows. So
I would
anyway,
love that. I'd
yeah,
love.
that was kind of interesting because they've been asking for us for about a year now, through one of our agents, and it was always just a matter of logistics. So when we get there, we'll let you know.
All right, I'm getting a VIP, man. I'm
Yeah, man,
backstage. I'll
count on
I'll tune your guitar. I'll get you
it.
beers.
Oh, no, no, no. Listen, you're our guest. It's simple as that. You're our guest. Just join us and enjoy. That's
Thanks,
what we'll
man.
do. Sure, absolutely. What have I been listening to lately?
What have you been listening to lately?
All right, so lately is for me is this morning, okay?
Okay.
And I was really in a Tears for Fears mood, so I turned on YouTube and watched them in concert in Brazil, and I loved it. Just got a kick out of that. Then it was Genesis Live 1986 from the Invisible Touch tour. That was fun. And then I switched gears to John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra, which is, a personal inspiration for my guitar playing. So there.
I, wa- I was going to ask you about your, your influences and stuff when you were younger, and
All right.
what got you, into playing guitar and into music and stuff like that.
Well, I come from a musical family. My uncle was the world's most renowned interpreter of Liszt and Rachmaninoff as a classical pianist worldwide, as a
Wow.
teacher. And, until his passing, just even nowadays, if I go to the symphony and give my last name, they're like, "Oh, Bolet, you're related to Jorge." I'm like, "Yeah, he's my uncle. Please, have the pit chairs and come meet the symphony director." It's kind of neat. It's what got me a scholarship to Juilliard when I was 16. So it's like I was very much into classical music and modern jazz growing up because mom and dad were listening to classical music, and then I was listening to the John Barry Orchestra, the soundtracks for the James Bond films, and Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass, and that's just some really killer stuff. Meanwhile, learning classical piano, and I think right around age 12, I'm like, I'm going to start transposing to the classical guitar, which I really enjoyed. Carlos Montoya, which is a flamenco guitarist, and we moved a lot as a child, so I had the advantage of going to Spain and just sitting in as a kid. You can go to a tapas bar where they have flamenco guitarists, and nobody's like pointing their nose down at you. They're like, "Come on, let's see what you got," And I'd play 4 notes, and like, "Yeah, great." And then the next night I'd go and I'd play 10 notes. Uh, and it's just really inspirational. Um, and that's how I got started. That's where I got influenced. And then, of course, um, I got turned on to Yes because of the great variety of music or styles that Steve Howe played, and I had to learn every lick, and I did. Um,
Wow.
and so that was just I wanted to be Steve Howe. It's like that's it. At the end of the day, that I bought all the guitars he had, but I still wasn't Steve Howe because he didn't have Yes to back me up. Um, I got into Jeff Beck because it's just a very natural way of playing for me. I really enjoyed it. And then, I learned the Zeppelin stuff because I found it to be very easy. It just made sense. It wasn't as structured as Yes Music or as structured as Jeff Beck. It was more loose. And I found it interesting, and then I just went back to the classics and got into John McLaughlin in a big way and Al Di Meola, and that stayed that way all the way through college. It was just those were my big influences, um, because everything else was like, eh, okay, not technically challenging, and I'm not a snob. It's just that's it. Just I really like 64th and 32nd notes. There's a really and a classical guitar, which there's always one anywhere I go. And that's what I do. Um, so those are my influence. That's really where it came from.
Wow. And it's making a little more sense now that In the Light of Led Zeppelin has so many instruments that are considered sort of not maybe not classical instruments, but there's that vibe.
Yeah, yeah, that traditional component. And I think because of John McLaughlin, I really got into the Far Eastern music. The Arabic tones and undertones. It's a natural part of flamenco guitar, but those Eastern Indian tones, really, man, that turned me on. And I got my first sitar, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And how do you tune it? And so it just really got me. I got into it.
Does it take like an hour to tune one of those sitars or something like that?
Oh, yeah, if you're going to play it in one particular modem, yes. Otherwise, you have to tune everything all over, and you need it. You can actually move the frets if you have to,
Oh my
which
God.
means you have to retune all the sympathetic strings to go according to the fret. It is a work of art, and it's ancient music, which just vibrates from the inner part of your body. It's
Oh
really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had put up you were playing some classical piece on Facebook, and it was maybe a couple of weeks ago. And I was
Oh
I
yeah,
was
I kind of wrote that. I think. Yeah, that's the one I wrote for my son. I think.
that was beautiful.
Oh,
I
thanks.
I was so stressed out, right? And
Right.
I was going through Facebook and I saw it, and I just happened to have my Bluetooth headphones right next to me. So I threw them on, put on your video, and I just took a deep breath and I'm like, oh, this is relaxing. I just kind of kicked back. And before I knew it, man, I was like so relaxed and just so at peace. And I was like, and I commented on your post. I'm like, dude, I just went from like completely stressed out, like ready to tear my hair out, to like being totally at peace. Just it was great, man.
That just makes me the happiest ever. Because that's from I feel that way when I'm playing. I composed that morning. I was thinking of my son. He's in med school right now. I'm missing the crap out of him,
Uh,
and I just it was just from the heart. And the fact that you picked up on that, that vibe, it's what it's about. It's to share that music. It really is. It's that inner peace.
yeah.
Good. I'm glad that worked for you.
Yeah, man. Do some more. I'll text you.
Sure.
Dude, I'm really stressed out today. Can you do another song?
Love it. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh,
Um,
you're welcome.
it's my pleasure to have you. Come back anytime.
It'll be fun. Yeah, I'll bring more people with the band to come and chat with you.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, we're in. You just let us know. We promise to behave too.
Oh, no behaving. No behaving. Pleasure having you on. Pleasure having you on, brother.
Thank
And
you.
take care of those 58 and 57 Gibson guitars you got over there.
Got it, man. All right, thanks a lot. It's been my pleasure.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.